Ladies and gentlemen, broadcasting live from the Scintillation State Studio in Northern California, home of Ukulele J Barbecue. Get your wood fired up and your charcoal burning as we get our smoke on with the worldwide streaming Strum Pluckin Good Live.
All right, we're going live worldwide. Dr. Bill's Candy Maple Syrup's on today, Sunday, 1 p.m. Pacific. Thanks for joining the Scintillation State. I am your governor. We are on the air. Strum Pluckin Good Live. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Today, we've got an incredible show that you guys are going to have to see to believe. We're going to talk about a couple things before we get started. Dr. Bill from Dr. Bill's Candy Maple Syrup is actually in the studio, and we are going to talk about not only some medical things, but we're going to talk about the vitamin D fortification in his candy maple syrup, how that ties to things. Talk about some things going on in the medical world right now as well, and talk about the syrup. But today, before I bring him on, we're going to go ahead and let you know that today we've got some incredible sponsors that are sponsoring the show. And I am going to be talking about them throughout the year. We've got everybody scheduled for 2021, throughout 2021. There is a delay on YouTube, so you might see a black screen, but trust me, it is going to come live. And there we go. There's an interesting delay. You have these things, and there's a delay going up like to space. And the great thing is today we have the Rocket Man himself, so he can definitely relate to all this. And we have our sponsors, which of course Dr. Bill's Candy Maple Syrup, Naughty Wood Barbecue pellets, Dat sauce, and Dat ketchup. We've got George Earl's barbecue sauce, Voodoo Roasters coffee, and we also have the meat stick. So thank you very much for sponsoring the show. And make sure you go to my website, ukulelejbarbecue.com. Well, you will see the latest going on. You will see the schedule that I have up. I have a guest lineup that's up right now. There are numerous guests that are not on there yet because it's into 2021. We're booking right now into May and June, but I think we're going to be totally full. I may have to do like almost every weekend, I think, if we keep going, or at least 3 weekends out of the 4, so I get a little bit of a break. Got the sponsors, and on the sponsors screen, if you notice that you go to a link that I have, and there's a link here that says links.ukulelejbarbecue.com. If you go to that link, you're going to see some incredible discounts, and we've got some great things. I don't post codes. It's kind of one of my things. I'm not really a brand ambassador. These are my sponsors, and I do obviously represent the product because I use it, but we've got some incredible stuff. I mean, 15% off Dr. Bill's Candy Maple Syrup when it's back in stock because it's sold out, but he's making some today at the facility. We've got some great stuff, $4 off George Earl's barbecue sauce, Voodoo's Roasted coffee, 20% discount, incredible. Click on there for that. And then the meat stick, you'll get a 15% discount. And that's on anything in the store, and there's no minimum purchase, which they usually require. So I'm offering some really incredible things to everybody for that. So with that being said, I want to talk a little bit real quick here about Dr. Bill. We're going to discuss his background, and then we're going to bring him on. So Dr. Bill is it's actually Dr. William Accousti. I'll call him Dr. Bill. And he specializes in pediatric orthopedic surgery at Children's Hospital. With more than 18 years of experience, Dr. Accousti is board certified. He is also an associate professor at the orthopedic surgery at LSU Health in New Orleans. He earned his medical degree from Georgetown University School of Medicine in Washington, D.C. He then completed his residency training at New Jersey Medical School and fellowship training in pediatric orthopedics at LSUE Health New Orleans at Children's Hospital in New Orleans. When asked why he chose a specialty in pediatric orthopedic surgery, Dr. Accousti said, "There are fewer greater rewards in life than being able to care for and literally fix a sick or injured child. Pediatric orthopedic surgery is a wonderful field that routinely returns patients back to normal life and activity in a very short time." He currently maintains all interests in all aspects of pediatric orthopedic care, with special interest in trauma and spinal deformities. And he currently is active, and he does see patients at various medical facilities throughout the New Orleans area. So, Dr. Bill, thank you so much for being on the show. And I love that smile. We got you now. People are going to see the real Dr. Bill at Dr. Bill's Candy Maple Syrup. And before we get started, I got a question for you. So I did my research on you, and you don't know this
Oh,
because
no.
this is not this is not scripted, right? And this is just as we go. So I didn't realize you actually graduated from the Georgetown University School, majoring in human psychology. That was your graduate school. You graduated with a Master of Science, Human Physiology, with a magna cum laude. Now, the undergraduate degree, so going back, was the University of Connecticut, and that was a major in molecular and cellular biology. You graduated with a Bachelor of Science in cum laude. So you were actually not doing that great, and you moved up, right, to magna cum laude in graduate school. So that was good. You're actually improving. And then you actually graduated from medical school in Washington, D.C. at the Georgetown University Medical School of Medicine, but there's no magna cum laude. So you kind of peaked, and then, like, what happened? Did your mom say, like, Bill, what's up, Bill? Your grades, what
So,
happened?
well, you know what? I told my parents I was having a name that begins with ACC is helpful because I told my parents I was graduating first in my class in med school, which technically I was the first alphabetically. So I did graduate first in my med school class. If you
That's
want
great.
to.
Well, I know, Steve. They don't give you like magna cum laude. But the question comes up is, would you rather would you rather go to a doctor that went to Harvard and was last in his class, or would you rather go to a doctor that graduated from like Oregon Medical School that was first in his class? What would you pick?
Well, there's a joke we have. They call the person who graduates last in his class of med school doctor. So,
Well, that's true. I
that's
guess
not,
they don't know. I guess
yeah.
I should ask for their records when I go and see them. I want to see the transcripts from medical school. So that they
That's
graduated.
that's a tough way to build a rapport. Start.
That's okay. So,
I mean,
one of the things, our guests are on now, and I haven't got any frantic messages. People can't hear me or see me, all the stuff. We're doing something unique, as you know. We're simulcast broadcasting on IG Live over here and also on youtube.com/ukulelejbarbecue, which involves a lot of very technical intricacies. So we had some guests on, and we've done really well, and today it's going fantastic. So the technical scientific gods are with us today, and I'm really grateful that you could be on because you're in the facility. I don't know if you can later, if we're talking, you can actually go and show us kind of what's happening and show us your boils. And I'm not talking about the medical sense, the syrup boils.
my boils.
Your boils. So
You really want that?
No, we don't want to see that, please. That's not the syrup, right, in the bottles. We're talking about the real stuff. So I have a question for you, and I have actually a lot of questions, and I'm prepared today because I wanted to make sure that I stayed on track. I have a tend to kind of ramble. As you know, we've had a lot of discussions late at night, and we both like just kind of go off into the ether, into the space, so to speak. And my question is, what was the most rewarding case? And we're going to get into food, folks. So he's fascinating. I want you guys to know who Dr. Bill is. Who's behind the syrup. It is him. He is the guy. He doesn't have a crew of 20 people in a company working. This is just him, working long days, doing surgeries, coming home, and then, working on syrup. So what was the most rewarding case you ever worked on as an orthopedic surgeon?
So, that's a good question. Probably one of the most rewarding cases, at least when I started in practice, was it was one of those days. And fortunately, call for me is not horrible. I mean, occasionally we'll have to do some urgent things in the middle of the night, but there are very few real dire emergencies in pediatric orthopedics. But this was one of those days. It was a weekend where we started operating probably about 8 o'clock in the morning, and just one thing after another kept coming in. And we were finishing up. It was around midnight with the last trauma case, and we had gotten a call about someone being transferred from another facility. They weren't able to care for this particular kid's injury at that facility, and we accepted it. But they didn't really tell me. They just said she had a broken wrist, and they kind of didn't give us all the details. And when she arrived, right when we were finishing up that last case, my resident runs out of the OR to go check it out in the ER. So we can know if we could let the team go, because it was probably something we thought we could just set in the emergency department. Well, it turned out she had this mangled extremity. This poor girl was in a bad four-wheel vehicle accident. Her hand was just literally mangled and hanging on by a few threads, and which was not what we were expecting. So at 2 a.m, the team, we just kept rolling, and we put this girl's wrist back together. She remarkably gained back so much function, and I think if you looked at the pictures, it was pretty gruesome. Some people thought she'd probably lose her hand, but I had help for the plastic surgeons and infectious disease team. We got her hand back and fully functional. She can hold the cell phone. I probably sent you some pictures of that, but those kind of cases, at two in the morning, they when you're worn out, they kind of challenge you. But that's the nice thing about orthopedic surgeon. Kids can heal things that you just wouldn't expect. Their function returns. They're motivated. There's such a rewarding thing. I mean, there's a lot of cases like that, but that was just one that stands out because of how bad it looked at first, and then how well she turned out in the end.
Yeah, that's
and
great.
I still see her from time to time.
That's incredible. I mean, doing that stuff must be just really rewarding, knowing that somebody could lose function of something, you're restoring, their ability to live kind of a normal life. And I mean, some cases obviously don't turn out that way with amputations and things. But,
right.
Go ahead.
I saw a text message from Chef Gasson. He said he's having trouble. He's not hearing us. Is that? I don't know which.
Hold on, he should be hearing.
I don't want to flip off the screen. I want to make sure.
Yeah, let me see here. He's not here. Oh, I wonder if is he on YouTube.com or is he on? If he's on IG Live, he won't hear us. He probably doesn't know that we're streaming live. For those guests that are on, I think he did join. You want to go to youtube.com/ukulelejbarbecue because we're streaming live on YouTube right now. Dr. Bill is in the factory, and they want me to turn my volume. Hold on a minute. Okay. All right. So Dr. Bill's at the factory right now, and I'm turning up my volume a little bit so maybe he can hear me. I was down probably a little low because from last night I didn't want to blast you out. And for those that are on Instagram Live right now, yep, you can hear. Okay, so we're both on. I just got confirmation, so I think Chef Gasson may be on IG Live, and so as people hear about me more and know what's going on, they'll realize YouTube's really the place to be. I had the feed on because usually people are used to the dual feed, right? We had Misty and Jennifer, and they can see kind of both of us on both places. And obviously today, because you're in the factory doing the syrup, we had to do this, which is really the primary method I'm going to do the YouTube. The IG Live's kind of like a nicety, so people can see that. But basically, if they want to hear us today, they got to go to youtube.com/ukulelejbarbecue. Thank you for Ukulele J Barbecue's wife for letting people know. She's putting notes up so people can see that. So I feel much better. I thought, God, are we having a problem again? But the story of my life. But fixing problems, that's what we do, right? We both fix problems. So with that being said, I'm going to go here, and I think I have a let's see, a chat here going on, and it looks like yep, okay, they can hear us fine. So I'm in the YouTube chat. If anybody has any question, you can just throw it in the YouTube chat, and we'll try to get to it. So the next question I have, Dr. Bill, is some call you the Rocket Man, and they don't realize that Elton John wrote actually about you. It was actually from his heavily inspired book from the 1950s, which was The Rocket Man. Most people don't know, by the late author Ray Bradbury, and he wrote about an astronaut who's torn between going to space and being with his family. Honest to God, that's what it is. I mean, you are the Rocket Man. You're the epitome of this. You've got orthopedic surgeon. You got a wife. You've got kids. You've got friends. You've got people that are a pain in the ass like me, asking you for I want to get some syrup. And then you've got other people out there who are demanding your attention. Most people don't know you ride motorcycles. Probably haven't done that in a while, but you got a lot of things going on, kind of like me. So, with that being said, how do you balance all that? Because you go nonstop. You're up early in the morning for surgeries. We're dealing with stuff for the recipes for Dr. Bill's, and I'm making stuff and hitting you up for this and that, and we're getting pictures. And how do you deal with all that stuff?
Yeah, it's fortunately, I think sometimes you don't really need. I don't feel like I need as much sleep as other people. Maybe I think there are a certain subset of people that can at least I think I can thrive on just about 5 or 6 hours of sleep. I'll stay up late. I figured if I'm not, I get bored easy. So when the family goes to sleep and they're in bed at 8, 9 o'clock, something like that, that's my couple hours at night to work on the syrup stuff. Not if I'm not doing something at the hospital. So I just don't feel like I need more than 6 hours of sleep a night, and you can get a lot accomplished. I don't know. I just always have to keep busy. So if I'm just sitting around doing nothing, I'm bored. So I look for things to do.
So is your wife like my wife, saying, can you put the phone down and come spend some time with me? Do you ever hear that phrase?
So yeah, that's a problem because my phone goes constantly, and at the dinner table is where it particularly comes into there was a PSA not too long ago. I think Will Ferrell did. It's a very funny interchange. He's on his phone at the dinner table, and his daughter tells her, she was like 12, says, "Dad, I just got a tattoo." And he's like, "That's great, honey." And he's not paying attention to his family.
I think I saw that. Yeah, yeah, I hear that a lot. My daughter gives me crap about it too. But hey, you got to do what you got to do, right? I mean, this time, especially for me, I'm working, a 60-hour week job, full-time job. I've got 50 people that rely on me, and I'm getting calls nonstop all the time, trying to solve problems. Clients calling for certain things. I've got the end of the year has been crazy this year because usually December's slow. It's been explosive. Everybody wants to do projects, spend their money because they're afraid of the new tax thing coming in with the presidential change. So we're just slammed. So I'm doing that, trying to balance everything. But we're home together 24/7. So it's not like they don't see us. But with that being said, the Rocket Man, is that kind of something you like to go by? Because my buddy, who's probably watching today, he lives in Santa Rosa, and he used to be, he used to brag he was the Rocket Man in high school, and his girlfriend said, "Yeah, well, he's actually the Minuteman missile." So, with that being said, what class of rocket do you think you are?
Yeah. Oh, I like the Saturn V. That's my favorite.
Saturn V. Okay. All right. Good.
I didn't say the Big Heavy. That's a new one.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. The Big Heavy. I like that.
Saturn
V. Okay. There you go, everybody. And Dr. Bill is married, so the Saturn V will continue on solo. So how did you come up with the idea of vitamin D fortification in your syrup, and why did you choose cane and maple syrup and not just maple syrup?
So I was born up in the Northeast. I grew up in Connecticut, spent my whole life in the Northeast, and eventually made it down to New Orleans for an extra year of fellowship training. And I wasn't planning, I had no plans of staying there, but fell in love with the city during that extra year of fellowship training and decided to stay down in the South. So maple syrup was just something I grew up with, very common up there in Connecticut, the Northeast, Vermont, New Hampshire area. And when I came down to New Orleans, my wife, or at the time, fiance, introduced me to a cane syrup, we don't have a lot of cane syrup up in the Northeast. We don't use it, but there's one well-known brand here, and it's a very strong, almost like a molasses flavor. It's almost overpowering by itself, but we'd make, sort of as a tradition, make pancakes or waffles. I love waffles. So I was going through all these different recipes looking for the perfect waffle. And I'll be the first one to say I'd eat Waffle House anytime I go to Waffle House. Thank God they're open 24/7 because I'll go there any time of the day and sneak in a bottle.
People like Waffle House. I hadn't eaten there until I was on a job in Missouri in this little hick town, and there was a Waffle House. You probably know what it was like. And my buddy said, "Hey, you got to go to Waffle House." And it was about 1:30. We got done with a network project. We go in there, and the waitress was like, 87 years old. She had the worst attitude. Yeah, what do you guys want? A bunch of drunk people coming in, leaning over. Hey, what's happening? I'm like, I'm never going back to Waffle House ever again in my life.
So you have an Awful House experience. Yeah, no.
That's true. An Awful House experience for sure. But yeah, so molasses is not my. I can't do molasses. My wife made these beans forever with molasses, and I didn't like it. And so this is honest to God. I mean, we've been married almost 30 years, and she always makes the beans with the bacon, and so I just don't eat them. They actually, I don't know, bother me. Something in my stomach, I don't like them. But anyways, this last year, we said, hey, let's use Dr. Bill's cane maple syrup. Don't put the molasses in the beans. Just leave it out. We did it, and honest to God, anybody that's watching this show, dump the molasses. That stuff sucks. Dr. Bill's cane maple syrup in the baked beans with bacon. I'm telling you, it is incredible. And I eat the beans now. I really enjoy them. And my wife will tell you in a testament, I did not eat the beans before. So it's really fantastic. It's phenomenal. I mean, it's a great sweetener. We're using it in all sorts of stuff. My wife's baking with it. I'm cooking with it. I'm doing everything with it. Glazes, sauces. Chef Gasson did that incredible recipe with the vinaigrette that he used with Dr. Bill's, which I did a video on. People are just coming up with incredible ideas with this stuff. It's not just for pancakes or for waffles. It's for everything that you cook with. If you're creative enough and you can kind of put together some ingredients, it really blends well without overpowering the food. Don't you think?
Yeah, that's how we end up meeting, and you getting involved with Dr. Bill's syrup. It wasn't because I guess you had it at a breakfast place in New Orleans.
Toast.
And Toast, a wonderful place. And they
love it.
They are probably my biggest purchaser as far as restaurants go. And you had left a review on Yelp. You had gone in there for some chicken and waffles, and I was just scanning the internet for seeing any mentions. This is a couple years ago now. And I just saw a Yelp review you left, and you held up a bottle of Dr. Bill's syrup and say, I found this. This is something I never had before. And it was just you made a nice comment. I didn't know who you were. And I thought, well, I gotta reach out to this guy. What a nice plug on Yelp about the syrup. So I sent a message, and then that's how that's how we met.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It was just fate, and everything I've been doing is fate. It's really, really weird. And one of the things I'm gonna do is, you can't see it, but I'm gonna pull up your feed, because this is one of the things that I had at Toast in New Orleans. And if people can see this, it looks like these little powdered balls that are on the screen, like a dough, and that's the apple Skewers. The apple Skewers. Yeah. So I went into Toast, and I honestly had never heard of apple Skewers before. And I think I butchered the name. I think I called it like Able Skewers or something. And my wife says, no, those are Able Skewers. So, okay, so we got those and the fried chicken. So instead of fried chicken and waffles, had the fried chicken with Able Skewers. And I used the candy maple syrup on that. And I thought, man, fried chicken with the syrup sounds really good. I mean, right. Chicken and waffles. And that's what kind of started it all off. So right. I just wanted to show people on IG Live right now. If you go to youtube.com/ukulelejbarbecue, that's where we're showing this right now. So people on IG are probably wondering, why is Jay just talking in thin air and we can't see anything? The show is going on live right now on youtube.com/ukulelejbarbecue. And you can see the Able Skewers here, and we're going to show some other things as we're talking. But those Able Skewers were incredible. And, the other thing that I wanted to show people is, Dr. Bill's candy maple syrup is a great dessert. And Dr. Bill, you know what I'm putting up? I'm putting up the Ghirardelli dark chocolate and the peanut butter with the Dr. Bill's float. You remember that, right? So if you want to take a look, I call this the Dr. Bill's float. This is my peanut butter, creamy peanut butter with Ghirardelli dark chocolate squares, and I put a float of Dr. Bill's candy maple syrup on it. If you haven't tried anything like this, you will be addicted heavily. I'm warning you. Do not try this at home if you do not want an addiction, because it's fantastic. But with that being said, you know what that was all about. And, I wanted to know, how did the idea, though, of vitamin D come up in the maple syrup?
Yeah, so as a pediatric orthopedic doctor, if there's one vitamin I recommend my patients to take, because a lot of times parents will ask, should we be taking a multivitamin? Well, kids probably don't eat the greatest balanced diet. I don't think there's any harm in taking a multivitamin daily just to make sure you get what you need. But over the last couple of years, we just see an inordinate amount of patients, and at least in the orthopedic clinic, with the various complaints that as we found out, is related to low vitamin D levels, or vitamin D deficiencies. Just seems to be such a more common finding now in kids. It's even linked to growing pains. Kids that used to just dismiss their complaints, around 6 or 7, that come in, kids waking up in the middle of the night saying their legs hurt. Well, they found out that appears to be linked to vitamin D deficiencies, and the symptoms go away completely, or at least are reduced pretty dramatically just by a simple vitamin D supplement. So I thought, if I'm going to make a food product, and that's a whole nother story in itself, if I'm going to make a food product, let me try. If I got to put something in it, like a vitamin fortification, it was going to be vitamin D. So just as an orthopedic surgeon, that was a sort of a knee-jerk reaction, and that posed itself a challenge. And we figured out a way to do it. It was one of those serendipitous findings, but right now, and the vitamin D is an expensive additive, unfortunately, but it's I think it at least adds to the it's not, I wouldn't say this is a health food, but because it is a sugar syrup, maple and cane syrup is not a diet item. But if you're going to give something to your kids, might as well be with vitamin D and not sodium or preservatives or flavorings or anything like that, which unfortunately most of the other generic or table syrups, are corn syrup based, and they're just filled with sodium, preservatives, nothing super healthy in there. So I as an orthopedic surgeon, vitamin D was what I wanted to put in there, and we figured out a way to do it.
So your process is a lot like making barbecue sauce, right? Because you have to do hot packing. Why don't you explain that process? Because people don't understand really what's involved with this, and what hot packing means, and why you do it versus cold packing.
So you can, to keep something shelf stable in a bottle, and I am not an expert at this, but I've learned just enough to know about it. if you want to keep something from spoiling in a bottle, you can put preservatives in it or acidify it. If something has water in it and it's not too acidic, then it'll grow mold or spoil in a bottle. One way to increase the shelf life without adding preservatives or other additives is by packing it hot and putting it in the bottle at a very hot temperature. It sort of sterilizes the inside of the bottle, sterilizes the neck of the bottle and the cap. And then that's what allows me to not have to put any preservatives or any other additives in our syrup. And per what they call the process authority, our bottle of syrup should be able to stay on the shelf unrefrigerated for 2 years in the bottle if packed properly. So it poses a challenge. Hot packing is a process that isn't easily done at some facilities. So you have to be at a facility where they can keep that temperature up of the syrup when it goes in the bottle, and you've got to be able to do something special with the bottle right after packing to sterilize the cap and closure. But if you look at the bottle, the ingredient list on our syrup, it just says organic maple syrup and cane syrup and vitamin D, and that's it. That's all that's in there. No preservatives whatsoever.
So 2 years, 2 year shelf life, right? 2 years?
2 year shelf life. And then also you don't need refrigeration. After you open, cane syrup is a pretty high sugar content by itself, low water, but maple syrup is a little different. Maple syrup by itself, the maple syrup industry usually recommends refrigerating a bottle of maple syrup after you open it to extend its shelf life. Fortunately, with our product, blending it with the cane syrup gives it a nice property where you don't have to refrigerate. In fact, we recommend not refrigerating it because sometimes that can trigger a crystallization process and you'll get crystals in a bottle, like you've probably seen that in honey or certain cane products. But you can keep that bottle after it's open on the table or on the counter for a long, long time. I have bottles that are a couple years old now that have never molded and never seem to spoil, that have been open. Just kind of a neat product like that. So,
I mean, what made you do? I mean, what were you in like surgery one day and you saw blood in a bag dripping? And you're like, oh, syrup! I got to make syrup.
I mean, yeah. I have lots of ideas and inventions, but very few I've taken to completion. So when I started the story earlier, we talked about I came from the Northeast. I kind of came down here and came down with my maple syrup, and then got introduced to this wonderful cane flavor. But the two by themselves weren't really appealing to my kids individually. But then I would mix them in a cup, put them in a microwave, do some heated syrup, and the combination together just tasted great. The maple syrup was kind of thin and watery. Kids didn't like that. The cane syrup was really thick and heavy and a little bit strong. And you put the two together, and we experimented with a bunch of different ratios and whatnot, but the two just seemed to blend together just perfectly. Made a unique flavor. Has that southern kind of that nice maple flavor from the north, the southern blend from the south, and everybody that came over the house, we'd make breakfast almost every weekend, pancakes or waffles, and people were trying that. This is great. What is this? And I said, well, it's just something I kind of mixed together. And everybody said they liked it. It was great. The kids loved it. So I'm like, why hasn't anybody ever done this before? It just wasn't a product that was out there. And I thought maybe there's something here. And I knew nothing about the food industry at all. And when this started, but that's why only sleeping for 4 or 5 hours a night.
Tough business.
And the internet is wonderful. Yeah. So I had this idea to put it together, and why not try to bottle it? And I was literally mixing it in the kitchen and giving sample bottles out to anybody that would take one. And most people said they liked it. And they said, you should take this somewhere. I went to, and I'm actually right now sitting at LSU Agricultural School right in Baton Rouge, where we currently moved our bottling production line here. And this is where it all started a couple years ago. I talked to the people at the Ag Center, and they gave me some help and some insight into the food industry, and the rest was history. And it just kept going, and it never died out. Like a lot of inventions and things I come up with, they seem like they're a great idea, but then just don't have the impetus to keep going forward. But this thing is just has not died out. It keeps getting bigger and bigger, thanks to people like you, Jay, who have just taken it to a whole new level. It's really quite remarkable, and I owe a lot of gratitude and thanks to you with what you did with it. And it showed people this is not just breakfast syrup, but my God, you've got a whole barbecue community just turned on to Dr. Bill's syrup, which is quite remarkable. So I I am indebted to you. You have no idea how much I appreciate what you're doing.
I'm having so much fun. This is fun. All the I get to do my own inventing in my recipes. But somebody on YouTube right now, this is awesome. I love the barbecue Instagrammers, people that have great ideas. So Jonathan Swindle's on YouTube, and he said you could come up with a vitamin D infused bourbon. Hey, that's pretty cool, huh? Does that mean we can make healthy bourbon?
I know that name.
You know that name?
Jonathan? Yeah. He's what was one of my residents. Hey man, how you doing? He's
we got people.
He's an orthopedic surgeon and a mechanic, and he's a great guy. God, it's been a few years since he came through, but Jonathan came down from Michigan to do a rotation at Children's in New Orleans for his pediatric experience, and I follow him on Instagram, and him and his father rebuild cars, old cars.
Wow.
But bourbon, vitamin D bourbon.
Pretty good, huh?
That's a good idea.
Well, you guys are mechanics. I mean, you like tools because I know you guys like drilling and sawing and all that stuff. So it's just like working on a car, right? Same thing, hammers and they just look prettier. That's all. The equipment looks prettier.
Most of us in orthopedics grew up with the building and construction or fixing things. That's sort of in our blood, in our DNA.
So who was the first store that got your product in New Orleans, and tell me how that happened?
Yeah, so many things just happen, just fall into place. I've been so lucky, and I don't know how. You always feel like, my gosh, I've gone to the well so many times. When's the bucket going to come up empty? But this good things just always keep happening. I'm so blessed and so thankful. There's a wonderful restaurant across the street from our house. We literally are across the street neighbors, called Restaurant Patois. It's probably I've been to restaurants all over the world, and I'll tell you what, I'll put this place up against anybody.
Patois?
It's just Patois, Restaurant Patois. What a wonderful place. And the menu changes all the time. When you come to visit in New Orleans, we are going to Patois, and you will be impressed. I've never had a bad meal there, and it's just a great local neighborhood restaurant with world-class food. And good. The owner chef is a guy named Aaron Burgow. He's just a super incredible guy in the food industry who he just goes out of his way to help you. It's a funny industry. Sometimes people are very hold information pretty tight and don't want to share, but this guy just goes out of his way to help people all around him. He also has another incredible barbecue place in New Orleans called Central City Barbecue, just probably one of the best barbecue places in all of Louisiana. And one day I was in the restaurant and I was talking to Aaron about the syrup, and he's like holding the bottle. He's like, give me some bottles of this. We're going to use it in the restaurant. And they started putting it on some of their appetizers. Actually, they put it in their mixed drinks. There's a menu item on the drink menu. It's called Doctor's Orders. They told me at least at one point it was the best selling drink. It was kind of a play off of whiskey sour and with bourbon. There you go. There's your bourbon. It's bourbon, fresh lemon juice, and Dr. Bill syrup. It's a wonderful drink. They keep it on the menu. And if you say Dr. Bill sent you in to get one, they'll give you a discount. But
they're going to charge you triple. You'll be drunk. You won't know what you're doing, so they charge you 3 times the price.
Yeah, I'm going to get a cut.
That's right.
So Aaron, the kind of guy that he is, he looks at the bottle. He says, you know what? Let me call Marcy up the street. There's a friend of his he knew who happens to work for the biggest grocery store chain in New Orleans is Rouse's. And they have, I think, close to 90 stores now. And it's not easy to get, as I've learned, it's not easy to just get on a product on the shelf. I just thought, I made a product. Let me go to the store and say, hey, can you guys sell this? No, but Marcy was wonderful. She's in the marketing team at Rouse's, and she took the product, introduced it, showed it to the right people, and a process that normally takes a very, very long time. Within just a few months, we were up on the shelves at Rouse's. I remember the day, wow. And so I'm indebted to them because you get your product on a shelf, a major grocery store like that. All of a sudden, it gives it the street cred, and then other stores were willing to put it on their shelves, like Langenstein, Jornax, and a number of places. So I just remember the day I went. I said, "Hey, the distributor told me that the syrup's up on the shelf at Rouse's over on Chapatulas, which is a big road that runs right along, actually goes right into Children's Hospital." So I picked up my son and from school, and I because I usually don't do that. My wife does that. I said, I'm going to take them right to the store. And this is like a process that's been going on for about a year and a half. And this would be a great day to take a picture of Will standing in front of a bottle of Dr. Bill's syrup on the shelf at a grocery store. It was quite monumentous for me anyways. It was a great day. Yeah, I still have that pic. It was a day one. It was a great,
that's great. I mean, I'm sure Will's all excited. His dad's, Dr. Bill, the Rocket Man. He may not say the Rocket Man when he gets in high school or college later on. But what's your advice to viewers who are thinking about making their own sauce and bottling and labeling? I mean, the food industry, it's a brutal industry, especially retail. A lot of the people and my sponsors, most of them, like you, they're mom and pop, own and run companies. Yeah. They're doing their own stuff, their own bottling and labeling. Even like Naughty Wood Barbecues made their equipment for their wood pellets. I mean, we're talking a lot of investment capital into that stuff. So for somebody that says, hey, I got a great barbecue sauce and I'm gonna bottle it and get it out there, what's kind of your advice to them?
That actually happens a lot now that I've got this product on the shelf, because for whatever reason, a lot of people want to make a barbecue sauce. And I guess the one thing that's helped me is that I have somewhat of a unique product. I wasn't putting a bottle of cane and maple blend out there with 20 other bottles of cane and maple blend. So that by itself, come up with a unique product, I think is helpful. I'm not saying if you got a great barbecue sauce, don't try to get it out there, but there are a lot of barbecue sauces out there. And I have friends who love, make barbecue sauce, and they bring me bottles and they're like, tell me, how do I get this? I try to share with them as much information as possible, but it's a grind. If you have one product, like I thank God for my day job, because I would not be making a good living selling syrup. It is a grind. You have to sell tens of thousands of bottles to make, but the profit margin is so small and everybody takes a cut. It's a tough thing. Distributor has to be able to make money. The grocery store has to be able to mark it up about 30% to make any money off your product. So and when you're making small batches, and I would say we are pretty small at that volume, everything is more expensive. Every label factors in, the vitamin D put in the bottle factors in. So you next thing you know, you're making literally pennies and cents on a bottle of syrup. And I don't want to put a product out there that costs $9 on the shelf. I think we just turn people off. So I want to try to offer it as cheap as I can and still keep this thing alive.
Well, the killer for everybody is the shipping, right? I mean, everybody now, the shipping is just killing everybody. I mean, it's killing everybody. I mean, the products, I bought something for $10. Oh no, I bought some Billy's bacon out of Fairhope, Alabama. Love Billy's bacon.
Yep.
And
me too.
The bacon, just for example, if it was, I got 5 pounds. Say it was $50. It was like $30 for shipping. It was almost as much as the bacon, and you can't help that. And people don't understand in the small business world. People are like, well, can you give me a discount, or can you give me free shipping?
Yeah.
And, the answer is no, because I need to make a living and make money. So I think it gave me a new perspective, especially for people out there. When we're giving discounts to people, and like, on my website, I've got these very special discounts that are not posted all over the place. That's a big deal, because, you're giving up basically a lot of profit to get that in the hands of, the Instagrammers and the people out there that really want to get, some Dr. Bill's Cane Maple syrup. And so that shipping is something nobody can avoid. And I think people have to understand that Amazon, these people that, offer free shipping, it's taken a huge hit on their ability to make money.
It's very challenging. Like if you buy a single bottle of Dr. Bill's syrup from our website, and right now we are out. That's why I'm here on a weekend, on Sunday, weekend after Christmas, making syrup, trying to restock.
Thank you.
But it cost me literally $9, $8.90 to ship a single bottle to somebody. I only charge $5 on it because I don't have the heart to charge anybody $9 for a single bottle of syrup, but I lose $3, almost $4 on shipping a bottle of syrup to somebody if they want to buy a single bottle. And that's just the reality. So, we make a little bit on the bottle side, but the shipping is a loss. It's just too expensive to ship a bottle.
It's crazy. And, there's all these companies out there that have great stuff. I mean, rub companies, you get a bottle of rub and, you see it priced like at $14, right? I mean, it's getting really expensive. And so, one of the things I like is finding companies that are doing well and have a product that's, priced appropriately for the market. I mean, obviously hardcore barbecuers, we're all kind of crazy. We'll spend, if it's somebody says, hey, get this, it's incredible, we're going to spend it. But the average person that maybe want to try something is going to look, and as they're walking down the aisle, they're like, well, this sauce is $4.99. This is this is $12.99. I'm going to go with one of the $4.99s. It's a real kind of thing that, plus placement in the stores, people don't understand. If you're priced at a certain level, they move your level, right? The more expensive items, typically people know, like liquor stores or supermarkets, they're at eye level or higher, and you get the low cost stuff way at the bottom, right? So, or in that range where they want to sell the sweet spot, as they say in the retail industry. So that's a challenge too, right? Getting placement and end caps and things like that. So you must have a challenge all the time with the stores, right? Yeah.
I'm still learning. I've was fortunate enough to get sistered up. Well, I say sistered together, or at least introduced to the Dat Sauce, another local Louisiana company out of Morgan City, and Dat Sauce.
Absolutely.
I'm going to shout out to Bridget, who's helping me with my social media and marketing and everything. She's been in this business for a while, and her experiences and that of the creators of Dat Sauce have just shared so much helpful, valuable information. The last 6 months alone has allowed us to reach out to more people, get our product well known. That is a whole nother game in itself. I think a lot of us were on, especially for me, oh, I got this product. Oh, people like it. Next thing I know, it'll just be out on the shelves at 3,000 to 6,000 stores or whatever. I'll be, we won't be able to make enough. It's just not. It just doesn't work that way. It's kind of an uphill battle, and you really need to. Unfortunately, I think there's a lot of failures. You try things out, you lose money going down one road, and then you got to try to make it up somewhere else. But it's a challenging business. I'm learning, but I love it. It's sort of like a hobby right now, and it's maybe someday Dr. Bill syrup will be a nationwide product that'll be on everybody's table. That's my goal.
It will. It's going to happen for sure.
It would be wonderful. And that's my vision, long-term vision. And, it realistic or not, you have to have a goal. If you don't have a goal, then what's the point? So to me, it's like, that would be a wonderful thing to have ultimately with Dr. Bill syrup.
Well,
I'm not going to quit my day job.
Well, Dr. Bill, when you have top chefs cooking with your stuff, I mean, let's name some people. You got Chef Gasson Nelson, New Orleans. I mean, he is a rock star. James Beard, a scholar. The guy cooks for, NFL, all these people, the Kardashians. I mean, you got that guy using your syrup, and you got another chef in Florida. He's an author.
Irv Miller.
I mean, Irv Miller. I mean, you got some big names using your syrup. That is something to be proud of. I mean, you can't say that. I mean, I don't think they have.
Ukulele J.
And Ukulele J Barbecue. That's right. We got the syrup going on in the house.
You were number one.
That makes me feel good. I'm usually never number one, so that's kind of cool that I.
Oh, you're always going to be number one in my book, Jay.
Well,
I mean, really,
you
you started this whole thing. I'm telling you, that's why those chefs are using it, because you took it and made these products and showed how versatile it is. It's incredible. And I said that before, and I'm not just saying this because you got me on the show, but this is how it's gotten out there. I mean, what someone like you, and I knew right from the beginning, and like, this guy really likes my product. I could tell it's genuine. And we sent some syrup. Next thing you know, you're just putting out these recipes and showing me what you're doing with it. Like, wow, I never thought about that. Look at that. Jay really likes this, and that's where it started. And then you started posting some incredible pictures of this food you make, and you're I know you wear a lot of hats too, and you've got your whole a regular job on the side, and then you got this video equipment. If we look at, I know you've got a whole studio over there, but this you are a chef at heart for sure. But you've gotten it out. You've gotten it out there.
Well, it's for the love. I mean, it's you gotta, my heart's in it. Your heart's got to be in it. I don't like anything, fake, or I don't want to be tied to anything. I just want to enjoy life and cook. And I almost went to Culinary Academy, didn't do it. Went to something else. Almost went in the Navy, didn't do that. Just I've done all sorts of stuff, and I think that, the fun thing now is that, like you, thank God for our day job, because I can afford to buy, my batches when I bought my Dr. Bill's Candy Maple Syrup and the other stuff I've been buying, and my toys, and I just got a new grill that we won't talk about because my wife's probably she just heard about it yesterday, and you need another grill? You're like, of course, honey. I mean, come on. What do I do? That's what I do. So it's great. And I love cooking with your stuff. I love thinking up new recipes. I love the fact that Ukulele J Barbecue's wife on Instagram, she's doing stuff now with Dr. Bill's cane and maple syrup as well, and leaving out the sugar. She did something else. I can't remember what it was. She should post, but she did something else where she just left the sugar out. I mean, it really called for sugar. Just use Dr. Bill's cane maple syrup. Absolutely fantastic. Her baking stuff. You don't. I mean, sugar's kind of, there's a big debate, and you're a medical doctor. People kind of call it poison. Actual white refined sugar. It's kind of not really good for your body, right? It doesn't process, and so there's that dichotomy, right? You need sweetener, but it's sugar, and we kind of said let's leave it out and try that, and it actually worked. Now, I don't know if it worked with everything, if it does something chemically in certain foods you have to cook, but it's worked on the baked beans. It's worked on some of our baking stuff. It's working with a lot of things.
Yeah, so that's why I think you've shown, and just like some of the other chefs, if a recipe calls for brown sugar or just plain maple syrup, people try using Dr. Bill's syrup in its place on one-to-one. Probably one of my own personal victories was making. We didn't talk about this. I love banana Foster, and that's a real classic New Orleans dessert made famous by Brennan's restaurant. And it's not a very overly complex thing to make, but you've got to have a number of different ingredients, and it's kind of a special event if you do it at your house. But I thought, well, why not just, I mean, the flavor, Dr. Bill's syrup has this interesting flavor profile. Like, maybe we don't need all those other ingredients. Maybe we just can do it with butter and Dr. Bill's syrup and bananas. And wouldn't that be wonderful if anybody can kind of make a quick and easy version of banana Foster? So we call it Rocket Foster, but that was my first dessert that I made with it. And it's that simple. I mean, literally some butter and Dr. Bill's syrup, get it bubbling, we made, that was one of the first videos we made, Rocket Foster on YouTube. You have to look that up, but I love cooked bananas and put it over ice cream. It's a great dessert.
Yeah,
and easy to
it's also good on popcorn, which I had showed everybody. That was really amazing. I mean, we did some experimenting. It was pretty funny, right? We're trying to figure out how do we do this. Do we pour the syrup in first? Do we pop the kernels first? And we figured it out. And boys, it's amazing on a salty, sweet and salty popcorn.
Syrup.
yeah, I know. I came close, but that's something for people to try. And I know you're revamping your website. You're gonna have a bunch of recipes up on there. People will be able to see a lot of cool stuff you can do with Dr. Bill's syrup. And one of the things
we are having a page dedicated to just Ukulele J.
That was a surprise to me.
That was page.
Very cool. I'm so gracious and honored that I'm going to be featured on that website. That is really awesome, and I will I will deliver. We got a lot more recipes coming, so hold on to your rocket. We're gonna blast off and do some new things in 2021.
I want to say, I hate to interrupt, but for everybody else that's still watching, Ukulele J, let me tell you what kind of guy he is. He sent me a rocket, a hydrogen rocket. He mailed it to my son. So we went out and launched this the other day. We put Dr. Bill's syrup stickers and Ukulele J stickers on the launch pad. But Jay, that was awfully nice. So we had a good time doing that. So that's the kind of guy Jay is.
It's cool. I mean, I just like the fact you will get to go out and your son and have a good time. It's just, I just love seeing that. It's really great. It's fantastic. And so you are today at the factory. So is there a possibility you can grab your phone and show us kind of what's going on? Is that a possibility? Are you not allowed to go in there or what? Your boils are gone?
Well, it is. We are in a small kitchen facility.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Are there other people there or just you?
There is one. So right now, I've convinced one of the LSU students who knows this is my first time. This is our first time bottling.
Doing your own, your own kind of
here, because COVID, unfortunately, it took our other bottler away. Not because he died, just because he's making hand sanitizer. That's just.
He's alive. He's alive, everybody. No bad rumors on social media. Yeah.
Making truckloads of hand sanitizer.
I know everybody. The breweries. Everybody's like dumping stuff off for hand san. I mean. It's crazy. I mean, you can't get stuff made.
No, and one of my cane suppliers was out of that plant as well. So we both were scrambling, and I'm still waiting for cane syrup to be made, and that's a process in itself. So right now we have a problem just getting our raw materials. The maple's easy to get, But right now, the cane syrup for me is a challenge. At least the brand that I use or the company that I used as one of the components of it.
So can we get a peek in the kitchen? Is that possible to take a look?
It's not. You're not gonna be. Let me see. I'm gonna have to take off the background.
That's all right. That's all right.
I'm gonna go peek in there. Let me see.
All right, everybody. If you get on YouTube.com,
there's nothing. This is
the kitchen.
This is a small. We're only doing a 15, 20 gallon batch.
Small batch. We're doing test batch. This is a test batch today.
How we big kahuna. All right, hang on. Let me get I got to get a hairnet and
he's got to get a hairnet, everybody. So go to youtube.com/ukulelejbarbecue so you can see Dr. Bill in his hairnet because he's going to look gorgeous with a hairnet on.
Let me see.
And this is all live. This is live, folks.
Well,
no
it's live, and I'm not sure how LSU is going to feel about me walking through this point. Let me put my mask on.
Well, I'll make sure to block LSU so they can't see it. I've got tricks.
Oh, shoot. Hang on 1 second, Jay.
That's all right. All right.
We are doing when I say this is not the normal bottling, this is a quick and dirty batch here.
Right.
Not dirty, quick.
Right. Quick batch. And you got the mask on for safety for code. He's got his mask on. He actually looks like a real surgeon. He is a real surgeon, but yeah, I love the mask. That's how you look every morning when you go in, huh? Nurse, give me a 10 blade. Is that what you do?
All right. So we're just there's all kinds of equipment in here, but
okay. Oh yeah. All right.
There's some gallons that have been
love the stainless steel.
A small cooker right there.
Oh, nice.
That'll do up to about 17 gallons or so. It's just a small batch we're doing to get. Can
we take a bath? I could take a bath in that, huh? Little dip. That'd be great.
You could take a big ladle.
I could drink the hot tub water.
This machine here squeezes lemons.
All right.
And this is a small bottling line here. That's just kind of neat. We are not using this today because we just don't have we're not doing a big enough volume, but bottles will come down here. And this is a two neck filler right there. Can you see that?
Yeah, 2 neck filler. So fills 2 bottles at a time. Do you have to hold the bottles, or does it go on a line and actually stops like all the bottles?
This is a line. It depends on the bottle.
Yeah.
But this is like a bottling line. They just roll down there automatically, and these little pistons will stop the bottle in the right place. The machine will fill it automatically. This is the hopper, and this is a big vat right here. We can do about 100 or so gallons in that. This is the heater. So this is a really big vat.
So 100 gallons of syrup. How many bottles will that make? That one vat alone?
Well, one of our bottles is 7 ounces, so we get about 17 bottles a gallon.
Okay. So 170 bottle. You get a lot of bottles.
LSU has another brand new, very beautiful bottling facility not far from here, which is a little higher volume location. They can do 20,000 bottles in a day.
Wow.
There.
LSU has everything, don't they? I mean, they got medical schools. They got food facility. That is an incredible place.
Yeah. This is the main campus. I'm gonna look back at myself here. I'm gonna put my virtual background.
That's fine. That's okay.
Let's see.
All right, you look good. It looks good. The background looks good. Well, thanks for showing. That was pretty cool. Seeing that back there in the vat with the syrup in it, that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that is. We are, like I said, we are doing it. We're in an emergency situation right now with the supplies, so we can get some bottles out to the distributors in the grocery stores.
Yeah, and you got your website, which, like I said, everybody was emailing me going, "Hey, when is the syrup coming?" So I told them, "It's believe me, it's going to be there."
A T-shirt company.
I think that was a guy from my it was in one of my groups. It was on Facebook, I think, one of my private Facebook groups I have said, "Hey, it looks like he's just a T-shirt company right now," and that was pretty funny actually. I actually, honestly, when he first did it, because I know him, but I don't know him that well, and I said, "No, I think you're going to the wrong site." I mean, I thought he was serious. And then I pulled it up. I realized, okay, he's razzing me because all he could order is the T-shirts. You have plenty of those in stock, right? So if people want Dr. Bill's Skinny Maple shirts, get them now before they sell out, right? That's the key thing. You can sell those now.
The T-shirts or the syrup. The syrup's coming back online. I should be able to. I'm going to put up a couple K. I've got to fulfill this order locally at the distributors with this batch here that we're making right now. But there's going to be a few bottles. That's what we'll say. Well, there'll be a few bottles put up online if anybody's listening. And first come, first serve. I apologize.
Yeah, we're going to get it out. I mean, you'll get it out, and people, it's great because it's just, that anticipation is fantastic. Then when they get the bottle of syrup, it's going to be so much more exciting because they weren't able to get their hands on. They got the syrup, but you know what?
This demand.
My wife was saying it's right. She made the challah. She made some challah bread with Dr. Bill's cane maple syrup. That was, I think I showed it. I think I showed it. Remember challah? Remember that I sent you that picture?
Challah.
Challah. That was really good. You got the challah?
That's awesome.
And so one of the ladies on here, Michelle Coit, actually on YouTube said, is that the way to go, is to get sistered up with another brand, because shipping is awful on my small up and coming business. And it looks like she's doing that's a barbecue. She's doing a barbecue sauce.
Yeah. So that's what we talked about, huh? But the shipping. So right now, fortunately, we are a very small company. When I say I'm, chief chef and bottle washer, that's not a far stretch. But that sauce is an established brand company, and they have a shipping facility. So they were fortunately helping me out during this by brought some product over to them, and that we created some gift baskets, or they did, and that was one way that it just helped get some product out to customers, and putting that together. But unfortunately, we all pay the same shipping rates. The shipping is I think maybe that would be one thing we could discuss. Like, just put it up on Amazon, everybody can buy it. But what you don't realize is Amazon's a challenge, because especially for a product like mine that's in a glass bottle, there's a bunch of restrictions, and it has to go through drop tests. When you drop the bottle from 5 feet, and if it breaks, they won't ship it out unless it's protected in some kind of way. But the amount of, if you go on Amazon, there's one fulfiller now. There's someone selling my product on Amazon, and it's like $14 or $15 for a bottle. And I thought, well, that's crazy, but it costs that much to ship it out. Right. And with all and that's why it's just putting it on Amazon just doesn't get it out to the world, because not a whole lot of people want to spend $15 for a single bottle of syrup routinely. Right. But that's the cost.
So I noticed on your Instagram feed that I pulled up here, and I've got it showing next to me, is it looks like Sprouts Farmers Market. Is that actually Sprouts? The Sprouts chain you got in Sprouts?
So that is the Sprouts chain, but we are in one location here in Baton Rouge. They came to Baton Rouge, I think a little over a year now, and it was really wonderful. It was an incredible chain. We are not chain wide with Sprouts at this point, because we need a national distributor, but they reached out to us because they were looking for some local products to put on their shelves, which was really, really quite nice. And they reached out to us and asked if we were interested, and we said, heck yeah, for sure. So it is the one location in Baton Rouge. Right now in Louisiana is right here in Baton Rouge, and it is on the shelf there.
That's awesome.
That's kind of cool. Yeah.
So, you're busy. I know you're there and you got stuff to do. We're going to wrap up. Before I do, I want to show people one more photo that touched my heart, and you're going to know as soon as I say the word Rachel, or the name Rachel. I've got her up on the screen here. Can you tell me about her? It's really a cool story, and we'll wrap up with that and leave everybody with some good feelings before they wait for their Dr. Bill's Candy Maple Syrup to hit the shelf and your web store.
Say that again,
Rachel, the little girl Rachel. Remember, she's one of your big fans. She actually
Rachel, yes,
little Rachel,
Rocket.
Not big. So not your assistant.
Yeah. Oh, Rachel is the most adorable kid. Like, this is kind of one of the neat things about living in Louisiana, even New Orleans, because one way or another, I met Rachel's mom, who we call the Shrimp Girl, and Rachel's dad is a shrimper, and Rachel's mom will literally deliver shrimp to your doorstep.
That's the shrimp lady's daughter.
That's the shrimp lady's daughter. Yes.
Oh, okay.
So we traded. We didn't trade. I would purchase shrimp from her. She'll bring it. I leave a cooler out on my porch when she's got shrimp. She lets me know if they have extra and they're coming into town. So they'll drop off 25 pounds or 50 pounds of shrimp right at your doorstep. And I gave her a couple bottles of syrup to take home just as a thank you and as a tip. And her daughter just kind of saw the bottle and saw the rocket ship on the bottle, and she's just the cutest kid, and she loves everything to do with space. So Rachel's mom sent me some pictures, and I said, I got to get this girl some rocket stuff. And I got her, we got her t-shirts and stickers and everything to do with rockets. And her mom sends me pictures of her flying the bottle around. She's just the most adorable Adorable kid.
That's awesome. I actually fly my bottle around too, my pajamas at the house. So. My wife always says, "You need dressed today?" The rock. Just run like, shut him up, telling him, "I'm the Rocket Man. I'm the Rocket Man."
Well, everybody wonders. That's another question. What's with the rock? What's with the rocket on the bottle? What's that have to do with syrup? I like nothing at all to do with syrup. I just like rockets. I mean, that's it.
It's great. Well, it's been a great time chatting with you and letting the viewers kind of see who you are, Dr. Bill, a real person, a real awesome, big-hearted human being who takes care of kids not only in the medical sense, but also your small little fans too, like Rachel and the Shrimp Lady. And I'm going to have to try to get some of that Gulf shrimp and the oysters flown out. I'm going to check out. Well, no, I'm going to buy from now. There's a place that I think is shipping stuff now. I'm going to try to find that after the show today and get an order out here so I can make some of the those char grilled oysters. Oh my God, they're so good. And I didn't go to the one place. What was the place you said I have to go to when I'm heading to New Orleans? Hopefully it's just COVID. Drago's. Yeah, so when I get down there, hopefully COVID in the summer, fall, it's going to be good to go. We're going to be cooking with Chef Gasson, hopefully, and we're going to be seeing you. And I'm going to head up to Morgan City and going to hang out with the great folks at Dat Sauce. I'm going to bring my new Nomad grill, and I'm just going to leave it at that. And that's going to be shown here on my feed pretty soon once I get it. But that's going to be actually on the plane. I will be have grill will travel for sure. So we'll go to Latois.
Yeah, Fairhope, Alabama to see Billy.
Yep, Fairhope, Billy's Bacon, do the whole tour down south.
Keep going and make
Absolutely.
It to Pensacola.
Yeah, we'll be doing flying for a little while, and then hopefully then next year we'll do the flights and get out and stay some places for a while, and then 2022 we order the RV. I'll be doing some more flying, as the network builds up and getting things prepared, and then 2023 is the big North American tour. We're going to be driving, hitting all the Instagrammers. Hopefully, everybody that's been on the show that I've talked to and people that have become my friends on Instagram that I'm chatting with, and we're going to cook with them. So Instagrammers, top chefs, the CEOs of some of these companies, everybody's looking for some good barbecue. So I'm going to bring my grills. I'm going to bring everything with me on the road, and we're going to be cooking up a storm. And I'm bringing lots of Dr. Bill's loading up, so it's going to be awesome.
Looking forward to it, Jay.
Yeah. Well, hey, thanks a million, and we're going to let you go. You got to get rid of that demand that is there, and get that Dr. Bill's Candy Maple syrup going out of the.
Yeah, I saw a kettle of syrup. It needs to be put in bottles. We're going to go do that right now.
All right. Hey, you take care. You are awesome and great friend.
You're awesome.
We'll be talking to you soon. Thanks for being on the show. Take care, buddy. Thanks for watching. And for those of you that are on the show here, we have a fantastic guest coming up. It is Laura Parsons at Dangerously Delicious Barbecue. She's going to be on the show January 10th. If you haven't seen her, she lives the Rec Tech lifestyle. She is a fantastic lady. She's got some all sorts of incredible cooking stuff. She just got a Santa Fe style grill as well. And she has more grills, I think, than I have Dr. Bill's bottles of syrup at my house. So she's going to be on. And other than that, make sure you guys follow me on Ukulele J Barbecue on Instagram. Also subscribe to our channel here on YouTube, youtube.com/Ukulele J Barbecue. And again, Dr. Bill, thanks for being on the show. Have a great afternoon.